Before we start the review, I really wanted to show off this sick Buzz Lightyear shirt I got. Culture Kings, not sponsored at all, genuinely. Like, I bought this because I thought it was hilarious how giant Buzz's face is, but pretty dope shirt. I mean, there's more on the back. Again, just wanted to show that off before the actual costume of the video. What can I say except this sucked? Moana is the latest but first 3D animated movie from Disney to receive the live action treatment. Here we're following basically the exact same story as the animated Moana, where she sets off to find the heart of Te Fiti and Maui to restore it. That's all. Pretty much any spoilers, you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. What are we doing? What am I doing? Look at me. Look, when it comes to these Disney live action movies, I actually might be one of the last people to the party of just instantly hating them anytime they're announced or they come out. I admit I have really yet to find a Disney live action remake that I prefer over the original, or heck, if I just want to randomly decide to watch that one over the original, but there have been ones I've thought were all right. I really enjoyed the Aladdin one. The Beauty and the Beast remake was fine. Genuinely, even with as awful and as overplayed as these have become, I am still holding out for the hope of a live-action Hercules movie. Disney, do that and then stop forever, please. But when it came to Moana, man, it was just a different level of sleazy cash grab. I don't even like to use that word because every movie in existence is a cash grab by definition. Their purpose is to grab some cash and continue the flow. If you are making movies to not earn cash and grab that, you're doing it wrong. But here, it's the beginning of a new trend. It used to be 2D animated movies where I wouldn't say it makes complete sense to adapt those, but there is at least a bigger jump from that format to live action. But here with 3D animated movies, that jump doesn't feel as huge because sometimes 3D animation can mimic actual look of realism while still keeping that cartoonish, exaggerated look that works for that format. That and the original Moana does not even feel that old. The second movie that was also just okay came out not that long ago. It just felt like, why are we doing this? So I really had no excitement, but I was hoping to somehow be blown away or get just a nugget of why this movie should exist alongside the animated movie, and I can't think of anything, man. I didn't sugarcoat it in the beginning. I'm not going to sugarcoat it now. This, I think, was awful. It was terrible. I don't think anybody should be wasting their time to go see something like the live-action Moana movie because, for one, it's a shot-for-shot remake of the original. But you would think, okay, well, that's so wrong with that. Isn't that the point of these? I would say no. If anything, that gives this movie less reason to exist because it only highlights why turning something like the Moana movie into live action does not work. When I say shot for shot, I mean it. Same jokes, same lines, same camera angles. And it only highlights how some things that were funny in animation do not work in live action. They don't give off the same expression, exaggerated feel, and all the soul and charm of the original is just completely sucked out. And funny enough, I do find value in a completely awful movie because to truly appreciate the great, amazing films we get in cinema, you have to be able to sit through a couple of films like this where you were just like wanting to claw your eyes out. And so that's really where I'm taking this review, as a learning experience and dissecting why did this feel like a 5-hour movie. That's another thing. When it's a shot-for-shot remake and you're not providing anything new, I highly recommend you do not watch the original animated movie right before seeing this because it'll only make the experience of watching this film 10 times worse. To me, it's been at least like 2 years since I've seen the original Moana, and even then, with this movie just doing shot for shot, line for line the original movie, it made it almost a torturous experience to sit through. And it's ironic because you have Dwayne Johnson, who did the voice of Maui, and I think he's great as the voice of Maui in the animated movie, and it only makes sense that he's then the live action version of Maui, but just the look they went with him did not work. Putting this muscle-padded suit, that awful wig, paired up with the abysmal lighting and aesthetic in this movie. Like, every time Dwayne or any human character is given a close-up and you can clearly tell they're in front of a green screen, a blue screen, with artificial sunlight hitting their face, it is a film that is giving the aesthetic of a car commercial. Like, genuinely, I have seen State Farm commercials with better cinematography than what is done in this movie. That Batman ad they put out, way better lighting, shadows, contrast than whatever was here. Every time Dwayne was popping up, I was just half expecting him to pull out a bottle of toothpaste and go, "Get this, fellas." Because that's the appearance it's giving off. And again, when something like animation just highlights beauty, colors, vibrancy so well, and you jump to this, it comes off so flat. You can't just shot for shot copy an already great movie and expect us to give you a thumbs up pass. I've seen people who are already making that dumb argument, looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score between this movie and the original and going, "It's the exact same movie. How could you love this but hate that?" Michael Jackson's Thriller, right? Agreeably, great song, sold tons and tons of records, right? If I right now just started word for word singing Thriller to you, okay, send me my Grammy. It's the same song. I'm still doing the same. Cause this is Thriller. Thriller night, and no one's gonna get up. Okay, maybe I need to look up the lyrics, but you get my point. Just re-regurgitating word for word something does not automatically make it as good or of the level of the original. But I always understood why Disney still did this. They were like an infinite money glitch, that they could just pop one of these out, put as little effort into the film, and for some reason, audiences were glued to this, but looks like that is going away. The box office tracking for this movie is not that strong. It's looking to come on the lower end, much like the live action Dumbo and the live action Snow White movie. Audience, I think, are picking up on this just regurgitation and half put together movie that they just crave the original. They crave something new and unique. But at the same time, I also don't know what is the correct way to go about these live action remakes. Have it our way, I think a lot of us would say, well, just don't do them. But I do think there is room for them to exist if they are being transformative, if they are doing something like, I think the live action Cruella movie, I know not necessarily based on a movie exactly like that, but I thought that's something good because you had a different angle, a different story. And I felt there's opportunity to do that, especially with a lot of like the older Disney animated movies, whether it was a Pinocchio, a Snow White, or Cinderella, films that were like an hour and 10 minutes long. There is room for you to build on the foundation of those films, whether diving into the backstory. Like, I'm still thinking it was such a missed opportunity with the live action Pinocchio movie to not go into Geppetto's origin of why he made Pinocchio, the loss of his son, what this doll means to him, and yet they choose the most oddest things to fixate on and to expand on that add nothing to the original work. That's another exercise I do when I watch these live action remakes. Is as hard as it is, I watch a movie like Moana and I think to myself, let's pretend the animated movie never existed. And I'm right now in a universe where Disney, for some reason, decided to spend $200 million on this, a movie called Moana, starring Dwayne Johnson. This girl lives on an island. They have to go on this adventure. Watching it like that, like this is the first time this piece of media is given to me, some of the flaws stick out even more because you watch the movie actually realizing the film is almost dependent on you having already seen the original, because this film in live action interpretation doesn't want to make you re-love or appreciate these characters that they're setting up. You can feel there is no creative passion put into this, and instead it's just trying to hit the beats of the iconic moments in the original, and that's about it. Again, though, I know these complaints and criticisms won't amount to anything, and Disney is just going to continue pumping these out, and like I said, I'll keep watching them. Like, heck, I'm waiting for the Hercules remake or interpretation that they have for that movie, because I just love that film and would love to see a live action interpretation. But I am now to the point where I just don't see the point in making these movies and putting them out, other than just some people are going to pay for it and it'll make them money either way, which, I mean, I can't blame them as a business for doing that. So when it comes to live action Moana, I wasn't particularly a fan of its style and the way it brought things to life. Like, there are certain elements that actually do look good visually, like the big mother nature and lava monster, or even those little coconut guys. But boy, do the human characters in here just stick out like sore thumbs, and the way they're lit is just only enhances how bad the CG looks with the backdrops. They even give us our 3 stars. Comedy in the movie, man, 1 star. are. Literally all the same jokes from the animated movie, but they get a fraction of the laughs out of you. I don't think I chuckled once, and that's mainly because a lot of these jokes just work much better in animation. Drama in the film, I mean, it should be an easy 4-star movie because the story of Moana, I think, is really great, and the original film even had me tearing up, but here it's just a poor imitation, lacking that emotional punch. It's 2 stars. And suspense, the film, I'm gonna give it 1 star. Like I said, this movie felt so long. Like I was in that theater for hours. Looking at the 3 C's, I best recommend it to a casual that's somehow never seen the original Moana, but for some reason is interested in The Rock in a muscle suit with a wig on. They're gonna love it because they haven't seen Moana, and this at least will do a half-lazy job of getting them interested in that. All in all, when looking at Moana, I just really think there is no value in this other to experience a bad movie to compare it to why other movies are then good, so I recommend you don't waste your time with this.
No. Please don't say that.
Again, that's just my opinion on the movie, guys. I'd love to hear from you, though, what you think about it, especially if you did come out liking it or enjoying it. Very curious to hear from you what is enjoyable about a shot-for-shot remake lacking all the soul and charm of the original. Like, why is that fun? Definitely want to know your opinion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.